the elected officials that we have joining us tonight for the City of Fayetteville's first City Council meeting for the year 2024. We always enjoy having citizens come and see your City Council as we function and govern the city, and give you the opportunity to address the council, which we will do a little bit later in the agenda. At this time, I'd like to officially call the meeting to order. And this being the first meeting for the new year, I'm going to exercise mayoral privilege and do the invocation, the prayer, and then we ask, if you don't mind, to stand, face the flag, and cite our Pledge of Allegiance. Would you join us tonight? Let us bow our heads in prayer. Spirit of a living God, you who created us and sustain us, we thank you, God, for 2023. We thank you for a city that is moving forward in a progressive manner. We thank you for a staff that is committed and dedicated, and it's evidence, dear God, as we have seen so many accomplishments in 2023. We thank you for a city council that have been united and on one accord in our deliberations and our decision making. We ask, dear God, that you would continue as we go into the new year, we're giving us the wisdom to be unified, so that in the midst of making decisions, that you would guide our thoughts and guide our hearts. May we be compassionate in every choice, in every decision that we make, looking out for the best interests of the citizens of Fayetteville. We ask, dear God, that you would move with us, be with us as we go throughout the new year, allow our resources to be sufficient enough to carry out the progressive things that we have planned. Be with us not only tonight, but every time we meet, that we would be on one accord, that we, even though we may disagree, we will not be disagreeable, and we will represent you as well as the citizens of this great city in a wonderful way. It is in Jesus' name we pray, and all who agree say amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you again. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an agenda that has already been presented for the council meeting tonight. If you have not gotten a copy, if you want a hard copy, see our city clerk, Ms. Chelsea Seaman. She'd be glad to get you a copy, but it's always displayed on the screen behind us so you can follow along. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda or entertain any changes to the agenda.
Mayor, I'd like to move item number 7 to item number 1.
Any other changes?
No, sir.
Okay. Hearing none. Council members, what is your pleasure with the agenda?
Make the motion to move number 7 to number 1 and approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that we approve the agenda as presented with the change to move item number 7 to be item number 1. Are there any discussion? Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. The approval of the minutes of the December 14th, 2023 regular city council meeting, well, we're going to move that item number 7 to number 1. So at this time, we'd like to consider resolution R-1-24, the election of the mayor pro tem for 2024, presented by our city manager, Mr. Ray Gibson.
Thank you, Mayor. Every year we appoint a new mayor pro tem, and I'll open the floor for a vote for 2024. And also thank Ms. Nia Glover for her service in 2023.
Concur. We'd like to thank Dr. Nia Glover for her service as Mayor Pro Tem. Did an outstanding job, and especially in my absence. At this time, I will entertain a motion from the floor for a Mayor Pro Tem position for 2024.
I nominate Rich Hoffman.
Second.
Any other nominations? Hearing none. What is the motion?
Move to approve.
Go ahead.
Move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that we approve the nomination of said Councilmember Richard Hoffman to be the pro tem for 2024. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Thank you very much. We look forward to Councilman Rich Hoffman serving as Mayor Pro Tem and doing a wonderful job in 2024, especially in the absence of the mayor. At this time, I would like to entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes of the December 14th, 2023 regular City Council meeting.
So move.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are always proud of all of our staff and the members of our team here at the City of Fayetteville when they are being recognized and they carry out and they have great accomplishments. So at this time, our city manager are going to do some recognitions, and I'm going to ask the council at the appropriate time to come down so we can have photo opportunity. City Manager Ray Gibson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Happy New Year to everyone. The first item for recognitions, that group is not here currently, so we will wait until their arrival to present that award or talk about the Visionary Planning Award. So I'll go on to item number 2, the Governor's, the 2023 Annual Governor's Public Safety Award. And tonight I want to honor two officers, two Fayetteville officers, Officers Diana Snyder and Jacob Collins. I'm going to kind of walk through the story here of the situation which got them this award. So on January 12th, we all know, of 2023, there was a terrible tornado that hit Spalding County and left major damage throughout the county. Officer Snyder was on her way home on that day and had passed a Jeep that had been crushed by a tree, a fallen tree. In that Jeep were 2 adults and 2 young children. Given the storm, how bad the storm was, the 911 system was inoperable and not being able to be used. So Officer Snyder, first thing was to reach out to her supervisors, and Officer Jacob Collins got the call. He's a K-9, came to the scene, and first of all, they provided aid to the 2 adults. They got the children out of the vehicle, provided aid to the 2 adults, but also, in order for EMS, it took 2 hours for EMS to arrive on the scene. They had to provide care to those 2 adults in time, and they cleared the way for the EMS vehicles to get to the scene. Heroic, courageous. This is an awesome show of heroism, and our 2 officers. So I want to commend them tonight and ask them to come forward so we can get a picture with them. Officers Diana Snyder and Jacob Collins, and to know that the 2 adults are safe and the 2 children are safe.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, as they come up, let's give them an applause for their courage and heroism. Council members.
This way a little bit more, try to get the podium. Y'all slide this way a little bit more. There we go. Perfect.
Let's give them another round of applause.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to walk through the Employee of the Month winners now. For the month of November and December, I'm going to start with November. We have Tony Whitley, who we all know served as the Grinch for the city with the Community Development Department. Chris Parkerson with the Fire Department. And Darius Lett with the Police Department. So let's give them a round of applause. And our December winners, are any of them here? Our December winners. Don't be shy. Don't worry, it's not Channel 2. All right, the December winners. Agnes Bridges, the Finance Department, she works for the Municipal Court. Greg Moody, the Fire Department. George Boggs, the Police Department. Santiago Lopez, the Police Department. Alexander Rojas, the Police Department, and Joseph Harrison in the Police Department. Let's give them a round of applause.
Can we get the awardees right here in the middle? We'll stay behind you.
Can't see you, man.
Let's give another award.
All right, now we would like to recognize our city clerk, Valerie Glass, on her retirement. Valerie served as a deputy city clerk for 9 years and as a city clerk for the past year. And during this time, she also served as my executive assistant. As we all know, the clerk in local government wears many hats, ensuring that local government is operating efficiently and effectively, and ensuring that the executive team of the city, the mayor, council, myself, and others are meeting all their obligations. Keeping all of us on schedule, as we all know, is not an easy task. Projects like the City Hall, the City Center Park, these projects don't happen without people like Valerie working behind the scenes to get the proper paperwork executed and the meetings organized so we can hold those meetings. We all appreciate her commitment and most of all her friendship, and wish her all the best in retirement. Obviously, spending more time with family is always a great thing. So Valerie, could you please come forward so we could recognize you?
Once again, I'm going to take mayoral privilege and tell you, Valerie has been, a tremendous asset to this city, especially in the administrative department. She was the go-to person for me as the mayor, and as I'm saying, for all of the council. So Valerie, you're truly going to be missed, but we hope that you will enjoy retirement. My wife constantly reminds me it's time for me to retire, but I don't want to wait too late. So I pray that God will bless you to be able to enjoy the retirement. And thank you so much for your wonderful service to the city of Fayetteville. Okay.
And we're on the public hearing, so they're not here yet, Dave?
I'd like to say that recognitions and presentations are always the highlight of our meetings when we have them, and it goes to show the citizens that we have some tremendous committed, dedicated members of our staff, our police department, our fire department, and so I just want everyone here to know who is a member of the staff, whether you are a servant out there serving the community like our officers who I think really save lives daily by protecting our citizens, or whether you're a person who works in the office here, finance, and any other officers who do a tremendous job of making sure that the city runs smoothly. So on behalf of the entire council, we say thank each and every one of you for the work that you do in making Fayetteville a great city. Thank you. But I guess we need to go on and do some governing of the city. So at this time, we'd like to move on to public hearings. Consider 0-1-24, the final budget amendment for fiscal year 23 budget, presented by our Director of Finance and Administrative Services, Mr. Michael Bush.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Good evening, sir.
I see that we're waiting on somebody, so I'll go with the long version tonight, so the short version. Let's see, where is that? There it is. Okay. All right, so fiscal year 2023 ended on July 31st of 2023. And the way that the law works is you have 6 months from the day your year ends to the day that the audit is due at the state and other agencies. So our audit is due January 31st of 2024. We're here tonight to do a final budget amendment for fiscal year 2023, even though it's fiscal year 2024. So we're going to be talking about stuff that goes back to August, to end of July. So the general fund, this is the second time for 2023 that we've come to the council for a budget amendment. The first one for the general fund was $1,121,301. And this next one is the biggest one that you do every year because you're shoring up all your different line items to where your budget is greater than your expenses or same for your revenue. So this year, the second budget amendment for the general fund was $8,479,496, and I'll go more into that one in a minute. The ARPA fund, we did a budget amendment at the beginning of the year. We did not have to do one at the end of the year. Hotel motel, we did not do one at the beginning of the year, but we did a final one, adding $116,000 worth of additional revenues. Capital projects fund, $11,900. And all those numbers all the way down. About the middle of the page, you'll see SPLOST 2017 and SPLOST 2023. SPLOST 2017 ended July 31st, 2020, or June 30th, 2023. And the new SPLOST started July 1 of 2023. So we had to take the SPLOST that started in 2017, and because the SPLOST projects are project length budgets, not annual budgets, we had to do a budget that said 2017 is over. This is the total revenues we collected. These are the total expenses. And for the 2023 SPLOST, we had to adopt a budget for 2023 because we had 1 month of collections in July. Excuse me. So we added $2.4 million. We generated $2.4 million more than we ever anticipated with that SPLOST that started in 2017. I believe our original budget was $25 million and some change, and we wound up going up to a little over $31.5 million. We also had the TAD fund had a $33,000 increase, water and sewer about a $1.7 million increase. And you go all the way down, the total increase in funds was $58,628,305. Way blown up by that $40 million SPLOST budget that didn't exist before. But anyway, so in the general fund, we had revenues, the property taxes and all taxes dropped. We reduced it by $156,000. Licenses and permits we increased by $2.2 million. Intergovernmental increased by $145,000. Charges for services $750. Fines and forfeitures went down by $41,000. Investment income up $266,000. Contributions up 36,000, miscellaneous up 41,000, and other revenues up 5.9 million for a total increase in revenues of 8.4 million. I will tell you, in all funds but one, the reason we had to do these budget amendments, we had more revenue than we had expenses. One of these, and I will show you which one it is in a minute, we had to go into fund balance because we didn't have enough revenue to offset what we spent in this year. Expenses wise, same thing. The general government went down by 191,000. Judicial went down by 21,000. Public safety went up by 756,000. Recreation went up by 5 million. Housing and development went up by 1.8 million. And that's a balanced budget, balance increase of $8,479,496. To get into some of the individual line items, the real property, we originally budgeted $6,672,945. We collected about 97% of that, and we had to reduce that budget by $220,000. We will still collect that money. It'll just be in future years that we will collect the money. And some of that was when we adopted the digest. Some of those appeals were still hanging, and some of those appeals might have changed, and that's another reason why we might have had a little bit of that money went down. TAVT tax, that's when you buy your car, you pay taxes on that car, and that one increased by $129,000. The intangible tax and real estate transfer tax, those kind of go hand in hand. One went down 37,000, one went up 14,000. Franchise fee, TV cable, a little higher this year than anticipated. Local option sales tax, we used the same percentage increase from last year to this year, and it was $200,000 short, but $200,000 on a $5.6 million number is still pretty good. And then we had beer and wine. Beverage excise tax went down by $24,000. Local option mixed drinks went up by $90,000. Business occupational tax went up by $80,000, and general property penalties went up by $1,000. The next line is alcohol beverage for business licenses. It went up by $56,000. The rest of these on that page and the majority of these on this page are all license and permits. We had a good bit of activity in the city in this past year with license and permits. We actually, you see the building inspections. We originally adopted a budget of $550,000, and we increased that budget $2.1 million to $2,650,000. And then the only oddball in that bunch is we had less plumbing inspections this year than we did last year, but the electrical and the air conditioning and all the other normal inspections went up to offset that little bit of shortfall in the plumbing. Under grants, we had so we spent $135,000 in 2020 and 2021, and you know how the federal government works, it's a little slow. We finally got reimbursed for those expenses that were spent in 2021, about $133,000 what we got. The Maton grant, this was a situation where you had a grant that ended and a new grant that started, a January, December type thing. So originally we had a $5,000 budget. We got a new grant, which we added $10,000 more to that budget. So even though it's a $15,000 budget, it's really two different grants there. Also, for the next portion here, we had other court costs that dropped by $20,000. We had planning and zoning and development. Again, all that activity going on with the building inspections, all that line item increased by $20,000. Then the next set of numbers is court fines and forfeitures. Last year we collected just over $1 million, like $1,053,000. This year we collected $972,000. So the court's been averaging about the same, but it is a little bit of a decrease. And then same thing on the technology fees. It's like a $3 fee for every case that goes through that court. So we must have seen a few less cases this year. Interest income, we increased this budget by $266,000. Interest income was non-existent until recently, and we've actually started earning interest in the 5.5%, 6% range. So that's a good thing. And then we had contributions and donations, an increase of $8,000, and then the bicentennial donations that we collected were $28,000. So that helped with that, and you'll see the opposite side of that in a minute. Also, we had reimbursement for damaged properties of $83,000. We had several wrecked vehicles, some our fault, some not our fault, but we collected $83,000 to go to fix those vehicles. And then the other miscellaneous income, a lot of that increase of that 83,000 usually sits in that other miscellaneous income, but we decided, it was so big we broke it out this year so we could continue to watch that. And then in the final set of numbers here, you had operating transfers in from ARPA funds. We had a ARPA fund for 2023, but at the end of the year, we transferred all those ARPA funds to the general fund to basically eliminate that requirement that you have to do every year for recording purposes, because all that money belongs to the general fund now. Appropriated use of fund balance, we had budgeted $198,000. We didn't need it, so we pulled it back out. And in sale of assets, we budgeted $105,000 and sold about $90,000 worth of assets, so we reduced that by $15,000. On the expense side of things in the general fund, we reduced the mayor and council's budget by $63,700. That was the 2023 Fayette County Development Authority annual payment that we were giving them, and with all the transactions that happened, we got that payment back, or didn't have to make that payment this year. And then under the clerks, they had a $30,000 decrease in allocated self-insurance medical expenses. Miss Ann Barksdale left in December mid-year, so we saved some money there. Contract labor for elections, we saved $15,000 there. We originally budgeted 20 and spent about 5 that year. In finance, we reduced salaries by $15,000 and allocated self-insurance by $25,000. We had an employee leave in the middle of the year, and instead of replacing that employee, the employees in the finance department took it upon themselves to maintain the work without having to replace somebody. I probably shouldn't say this out loud. Legal fees, we didn't spend all the money last year, so we were able to reduce that by a little bit. And this year we are tracking to not do the same. Then we had in technology, we had a increase in salaries, but a decrease in repairs and maintenance that netted us. They were able to basically keep their budget balanced within their budget. Same thing for human resources, $6,000 in additional revenues, and then $6,000 in reducing some computer maintenance. And then we have in the general government area, facilities maintenance, we were able to reduce by $26,000, and we increased the bicentennial expense. Originally, we budgeted $35,000 to be spent. Remember, we just collected $28,000 additional revenues, so we basically were able to use $26,000 of that to have a total budget of just about $61,000 for that bicentennial. Then in public information, we had an employee that did not complete the whole entire 2023 year, and therefore it saved us some salaries and also some allocated self-insurance. And then in municipal court, we had an increase in salaries, but we also had a decrease in dues and fees that balanced that out. But then we also saved an additional $21,000 in other services for the court. So the courts actually gave back $21,000 for the balancing of this budget, which is a good thing. Criminal investigation, CID, they gave back $100,000 in salaries, but then we turned around and had to spend that $100,000 for drug disposal services. We actually had a grant that allowed us to get certain kind of bags that you could put, drugs that people wanted to give back in, like non-used medications, and even if it was, narcotics or whatever type drugs, they could do that too. But we forgot to put a budget in there for the expense, so that's why we had to do that $100,000 there. We got a little bit of money on the Georgia Office of Highway Safety grant. If you'll notice on that one, the fourth column on numbers over says $12,050.28. Originally, we had $13,000 increase in the budget, but we had so much revenue that we had to come in here and kind of plug some numbers. So we put a $50,000 amount of money here, even though we didn't need it, to just try to make it to where everything didn't look quite as big on the backside that you'll see. let's see, on the next page, so we had, under firefighting, we had an original budget of 2.5 million. We increased that budget in salaries of 209,000. We have some, a lot of that's going to be promotional type thing where we didn't have all the employees here. We got employees in. They went from an EMT to a paramedic, or maybe from a firefighter to an officer. So some additional costs there. And then we had also under fire prevention, we had $96,000. We took one person off the fire department and moved them to the fire prevention line item, and that's why that budget increased. If you come on down, you'll see next to the last one on the page, I think that's 335 Grady Avenue. We did not have a budget there originally. We spent $4.3 million for the 38 acres right behind us. It's a $5,000 budget. Again, that's because we had revenues. We just moved $5,000 to that line item. Safe Built, Georgia Professional Services. A while ago, I told you we had originally budgeted $550,000 for impact fees. For inspections and things like that, and we had to raise it to almost $2 million. Our original budget was $412,000 to pay Safe Built. We wound up paying them $2.1 million. And on that particular contract, it's for every dollar collected, we were keeping at least 25% of it, so we would never go in the negative. So we still made money off of building inspections. The next set of numbers here are the Planning and Zoning Department. Again, they had one line item that increased and the rest of them decreased, so they netted out to a positive, same budget they started with. We had a $54,000 increase in the Fayette County High Priority Trails. That was an 80-20 split. Our 20% was $54,000 on that particular grant. And then the next number is regular employees. We budgeted $290,000. We increased that budget by $525,000 because of excess revenues over expenses. And then the transfer to Main Street, same thing. We moved an additional set of money to Main Street to offset the losses on the concert series. And then we transferred money to DDA. You guys wanted to put $200,000 toward the structural improvements to the Dorsey Fife building, and then transfers out to capital projects funds. That one increased by $11,000, and that's because, again, we have an LMIG program, and the split's 80-20. Well, we got more money from the state, so therefore we had to come up with a little bit of extra money, and that's what that one was for. Again, all those changes totaled $8,347,853. That's the general fund, and I also went ahead and broke this down and showed of that $8 million, $5 million was for the 38 acres, $1,744,000 for inspections. You can see those numbers. They go all the way down. So anything that was changed, including, for example, dues and fees, we were able to reduce $45,000 worth of dues and fees. The majority of that was the one that you guys were able to reduce for the Fayette County Development Authority. So that's the general fund. Under the ARPA fund, the original budget was $6,618,000. We increased it by $10,000 at the beginning of the year. That was for some interest. And we did not have to make a secondary budget amendment. Hotel Motel, none the first time, $116,000 worth of. We budgeted $500,000 worth of collections. We collected $616,000. And in this particular case, Hotel Motel money goes to Main Street. 100% of it just transfers down into Main Street. The TAD fund originally budgeted $610,000, collected $675,000, and then with interest that came in for the year, we had to increase it by an additional, again, $33,500. Capital Projects Fund, I just mentioned the budget amendment is $11,900. $11,000 of that was matching the LMIG money coming from the state. Impact fees went up by almost $1.2 million. Impact fees we've budgeted for the last 10 years, $472,296 at the beginning of the year, not knowing if we were going to have a really good year or not so good year, but we had so many building inspections, all that stuff went up, so we had a good bit of money coming into impact fees, which is going to help us in the near future. Building fund went up by 2.1 million. This is the bridge project at the hospital. It's almost completed, so this fund you will see a budget amendment in 2024, and then a final budget amendment in 24 will take that to zero, and we will not see the building fund anymore. Then here's SPLOST 2 and SPLOST 2017 and SPLOST 2023. Like I said, again, we added revenues of 2.4 million, so we've added expenses to make up that number. And then we have to come up with an original budget for 2023. We actually collected $470,000 for our first SPLOST payment, but since this is one that you adopt first year and leave that budget the same unless we borrow money or something, then we'd come back in and adjust that budget. But that's a $40 million budget. DDA fund went up by $294,000. That's $120,000 for Dorsey Fife House. There's additional money coming in. Let's see here. Let me turn to that page and I'll tell you. Is that the right one? No. Sorry about that. I'll get right to it. Just give me just a second. I know you're not in a hurry, right? Let's see here.
Scott is.
Scott is? Well, we can talk about the police if you want to. Or that's Scott.
Yes,
Oh, that's Scott. Oh, sorry, Scott Gray. Let's see, it was ARPA funds, a transfer in from the general fund, and also a transfer, for the museum. That was the ARPA funds. Under the Main Street down there, it increased by $517,000. That was ARPA funds for the Holiday Dorsey Fife structural improvements, and also hotel motel. That $116,000 from the revenue on hotel motel, it goes to the Main Street department. Let's see here. The next one. Water and sewer increased by $1,764,000. The increase here was we collected $500,000 more than expected for water services, $742,000 for wastewater services, and stormwater services. We collected an additional $116,000. That's $1.4 million worth of revenue. The stormwater was because of an increase in fees for the stormwater fees. The additional money came through contributed capital of $245,000 for a total of the $1.7 million. The next one on there is solid waste fund. That one increased $325,000. That's the trash money. We increased what the citizens pay because we got an increase in what the city has to pay, and that's why that one matches off there. I told you there was one account where we had to increase the budget because we overspent the budget. It's this Veterans Memorial Fund. We spent a grand total of $320. We only had budgeted $200. So that was the one fund where expenses went over revenues. That really bothers me, but and the last fund that we got here is the self-insurance plan. At the beginning of the year, we did not put a budget on this fund, and we came and did a budget amendment. It was just a miss. And then we came in and did a budget amendment of $260,000, and we're coming back in here today to look at every employee. This is the medical. If you have single coverage or family coverage or spouse or employee and children, 100% of those costs go into this self-insured plan fund, and we had to add $934,000 to that particular fund to total $2.994 million. I got plenty more, but if you want me to stop, I will.
Well, I'm thinking the council members want you to press on. because
Okay.
I think
All right.
We had the privilege of getting this well in advance, and if they had questions, we've always been able to come to you, our city manager, with those questions. But I will ask the council if they have any additional comments for Mr. Mike Bush on the budget amendment. Are there any questions from the citizens on this budget amendment? Okay? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve 0-1-24.
Move to approve 0-1-24 final budget amendment fiscal year 2023.
Second.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposers, nay. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you. Make sure you get some water. So you. At this time, I see that our guests have arrived for the Regional Excellence Award. I'm going to ask Mr. David Rast, our Director of Economic Development and Community Development, to come and make the presentation.
Mike Bush is a hard act to follow.
He is.
As you're aware, we are here tonight to officially present to the mayor and the council the Livable Centers Initiative, our Livable Centers Initiative study received the Visionary Planning Award as a part of the Atlanta Regional Commission's 2023 Regional Excellence Awards. The project was based on our LCI study, Moving Fayetteville Forward, and within that study, it was a community-wide effort to analyze and provide recommendations for approximately 900 acres surrounding the courthouse square, with the intent of establishing a downtown that is pedestrian-friendly, safe for bicycling, providing new and interconnected parks and open spaces, reinforcing building design and architectural standards, and also allowing for a variety of housing types. Many of these recommendations were incorporated into our 2023 update to the comprehensive plan and the associated updates to the future land use map, the official zoning map, and most importantly, they were also incorporated into our new Unified Development Ordinance, most notably within Chapter 200, where we established the downtown mixed-use zoning district, specifically for the 900 acres analyzed a part of the LCI study. Way back when we were when we were awarded the LCI funding, one of the things we did is we narrowed down the list of consultants, and we sat in the conference room at the old City Hall with our interview team, and one of the things that we asked each consultant is, can you provide us a plan that's innovative and achievable? The city, as in most local governments, has done a lot of planning studies. Some of those have moved forward, some of those are sitting on the shelf. But at that point, and again with the direction of council with the strategic plan and the 2017 comprehensive plan, there was a direction that the city wanted to go. So we felt it was important to select a firm that could provide us a plan that was innovative and achievable. Moving forward, this plan, after we selected our consultant team, we started the process, and then we had COVID, and so it was a lot of momentum that I guess the success of the plan could be characterized by patience, creative thinking, and perseverance. We started our public input process, then we went into the pandemic, then we had to organize community meetings virtually and online opportunities to solicit input from the citizens. And throughout the process, we had a number of meetings where 30, 40, 50 people were in attendance. We had surveys where we had 1,100 and 1,200 people responding to those. So we felt we were reaching into the community and getting a good feel for what the community wanted. So it is my privilege. I want to reintroduce Sheba Ross and Shelby Barker to you with HKS. They were the lead consultants on this process, working with staff, our advisory committee, the mayor and council, planning and zoning commission, and their consultant team consisted of PEC, Office of Design, NV5, Noel Consulting Group, and Blue Cypress. And it's not often you have a vision when you start with a plan and you end up with a plan that meets that vision. And I applaud them for what they were able to do in helping us develop the Moving Fayetteville Forward plan, which again has been used, and we refer to that quite often, especially with the updates to a lot of our planning and zoning documents. So it is my privilege to reintroduce Sheba Ross and Shelby Barker to the mayor and council.
Sheba and Shelby, if you're willing to come on up, we are honored that you all took us through this process, and as a result, the city of Fayetteville got a lot of notoriety for the work that you all did, that making the city look good as we move forward with our planning for the future for the city of Fayetteville. Ray?
We're just going to play a video.
Okay, sorry.
In the category of visionary planning, the Regional Excellence Award goes to the City of Fayetteville and HKS for moving Fayetteville forward. Historic downtown Fayetteville has anchored the city for the past 200 years, but how should the area evolve to meet the needs of this fast-growing dynamic community? The Moving Fayetteville Forward plan aims to answer those questions and provide a blueprint for how the city's downtown will grow and change. Moving Fayetteville Forward envisions a vibrant downtown that's more pedestrian-friendly, safer for bicycling, with new parks and green spaces and architecture that honors the city's rich history, while also looking to the future. This vision grew out of a Livable Centers initiative planning process that featured online surveys, virtual community meetings, and a digital scavenger hunt where residents submitted photos of what they like best about their city. The plan will serve as a guide for developers looking to invest in the community, ensuring that Fayetteville remains a great place to live. Moving Fayetteville Forward is truly a visionary plan that sets the city on a path toward future success. For the category of livable...
Mayor, you going to come forward and get a picture?
Yes, we will. I just want to make some comments that over the span of time that we went through the LCI, I want to commend Sheba and her team, because most of the time you guys are engaging citizens and getting input, and it really made the city look good in not only planning, but also to make sure that the citizens know we're being intentional about valuing their input. So thank you for the wonderful job. Would you all join me in giving Sheba and Shelby a round of applause?
David, get in it.
Yeah, just for a few months though. Yeah. It's like the mayor's cup, yeah, they come back and take it, okay? It'll be a trade-off.
It'll only take us another 2-hour drive to come and pick it up.
Well, no.
Mike, make another budget amendment.
Oh, okay. Protect it, okay. Well, we won't do that to you because we know you guys come before, but David, what's your preference? You want to keep it in your office?
I think
This is your
being
team.
here for a few months would be good.
Okay, all right. Well, Valerie, we'll get you back.
Just celebrate.
David will come see you, okay?
We have to work on that next project.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Let's give him another applause.
Your turn, sir.
Council members have any comments on this item? Hearing none. I'd like to get back on to business. Consider Resolution R-3-24, Boards and Committee Appointments. Our city manager, Mr. Ray Gibson, will present.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As we do every year, we put together a committee to select members for this year for the Planning and Zoning Commission, 3 members for the Planning and Zoning Commission, and 1 for the Ethics Board. We did, for the first time, receive for these positions almost 27 applications, which shows there's a lot of interest from the community to be a part of these boards. So we did have a committee, there was interviews. I applaud everyone, all the 27 applicants who applied, for taking the time to apply and want to be involved in local government. So I'm going to read the selections for the Planning and Zoning Commission. Lori Mado, Kelly Brown, and Chris Key. Are any of them here?
Yeah, if those interviews are here, would you please come up forward? Or? Yeah, Chris is here, okay.
And for the Ethics Board, Lydia Powell. And for the Public Facilities Authority, those 3 members were reappointed. Their names are Ron Cantoni, Aaron Wright, and Nancy Musselwhite. So we'll need one motion to approve all those, Mayor.
Okay. Council members, what is your pleasure with this item?
Move to approve R-3-24, Boards and Committee Appointments for the City of Fayetteville, Planning and Zoning, Ethics Board, and Public Facilities Authority.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Thank you, City Manager. Consider Resolution R. And those who are here, Chris, let me say that, as sitting on the board of Selection Board, that we had a lot of more than, and I've been on the council now, this is my 4th term, and we had more than we've ever had citizens who wanted to apply for those positions. And it was a tough decision to select, but I think we got the cream of the crop and people who are wholly committed to being a part of the decision-making body. So Chris, thank you, since you're the only one here, for your volunteerism. And if there are any other citizens who are here who would consider serving your city, there will be other opportunities that come up within the next year. So please stay tuned, and if there's opportunity for you to volunteer, please do so. He's not getting paid, okay? Like we don't. No, just kidding. All right. I'd like to move on to number 9, consider Resolution R-624 to provide a 90-day notice of contract termination for Safe Built Georgia LLC. Our city manager, Mr. Ray Gibson, once again will present.
Thank you, Mayor. We're currently in a contract with Safe Built Georgia LLC to provide building inspection services. But what we found, and I'm just going to say this, the service has been good. We've had good service from Safe Built, but what their model currently of the 2575 for the larger projects that we currently have in the city is not a good fit for us. And so we're in the process, this 90 days will give them notice of potential termination because we are currently negotiating with them to change those percentages. So they're more beneficial, well, it's beneficial to both parties. And so I'm asking for this 90 days notice to be approved so we can have it in place just in case we do decide to go in a different direction after 90 days.
Any questions from the council for Mr. Gibson on this item? Are there any questions from the citizens? Seeing and hearing none, council members, what is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that we approve Resolution R-6-24 to provide a 90-day notice of contract termination for Safe Built Georgia LLC. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the next series is consent agenda items. I will read the items, but we will take one vote. The council members have been briefed on these items, and there is no discussion on them. A resolution R-2-24, lease purchase agreement. R-4-24, authorization for loan payoff. R-5-24, job reclassification item. R-7-24, waiver of water sewer fees for 100 Church Street. Council members, what is your pleasure with these items, consent agenda?
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Do I need to mention each one of them? Okay.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded that we approve these items under the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to reports and comments. City Manager, do you have anything to report?
Few items tonight, Mayor. Thank you. The Police Department Journey Program, the 9-week program, will start on February the 3rd. Kudos to the Police Department for taking the lead on that program. It's been very beneficial to the community. And that'll be from February 3rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then the 2024 Citizens Police Academy will be from March 7th to May 9th. So it'll be on Thursday evenings from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the deadline for applications will be February the 9th. Once again, an excellent program. Kudos to the police department for running that program. And also, our mayor celebrated a birthday on January 2nd, so happy birthday, Mayor. And 50th, right?
I'm getting
50th.
older, yeah, 25.
And then also, you mentioned you had celebrated an anniversary. Happy anniversary.
That one I am very proud of. 55. 45 years with that beautiful lady. I am.
And Julie, I'm not sure if you wanted to give an update on the Miss Anderson, if you're prepared to do that, so you don't have to.
So we are moving forward with the project at 100 Church Street. They started working, the plan was last week, but with the rain, it got delayed till this week. But they have started grading the property, and we have our official barn raising day, which is the framing day, scheduled for February 16th. You can go online and sign up at Square Foot Ministries. We're trying to make that a city volunteer day to kick off the project. Like I said, they're out there working now, but we can't pour the slab and that type of stuff. But they tell me it's like Legos, that the walls are all put together and we just have to hold them up, but no carpentry skills necessary. So we shall see. But I just want to thank everybody. A lot of people have worked hard to make this project happen. People here at the city, other community leaders. Doug from Square Foot Ministries, he actually built a house on Church Street 20-some years ago, so this will be their second house. But it's going to be a great project for the community. So thanks to everybody.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you for your leadership, Julie.
And then I just also, Mayor, want to congratulate you, council members Joe Clark and Darrell Langford for being sworn in tonight. We greatly appreciate all that you do, and I know myself and the staff do, so thank you, and we look forward to the future.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Council members, comments, reports? Oh, you have so few words tonight.
They're tired.
Nope, just,
Mike Bush took it out of us.
No, I would like to, I would like to thank the citizens of Fayetteville for, trusting in the work that we're doing here on the council. I didn't have an opponent for my campaign, so, to me, that was a vote of confidence of what we're doing. So I appreciate your support and allowing me another 4 years to serve on the council.
Councilman Clark?
Yeah, hey, I'm glad to be here. So I always enjoy working with our city staff because I do As the mayor continuously says, we do have the best police department, fire department, and city staff that any city could ever ask for. And I want you to know how much we appreciate you and everything that you've done for me since I've been associated with the city now for a total of 6 years.
Councilwoman Glover?
Overall, it's just been amazing, just working with each one of my colleagues, and I'm just welcoming you all back, and I look forward to a wonderful year again with you all.
Mayor Pro Tem Hoffman?
Well, I'm glad they all got reelected now, and I don't have to change the numbers in my phone.
Councilman Stacy?
I got nothing to follow up with that.
Well, again, on behalf of myself as the mayor, I'd like Councilman Langford and Clark, we thank you for having enough of confidence in me as your mayor to serve for another 4 years. And I make a commitment that we will continue to endeavor to do the best we can to make Fayetteville a city that all the citizens will be proud of, and we represent all of you. Not just one segment, but all of you, and we will continue to do that to the best of our ability. At this time, we'd like to open up the floor for citizens' comments, opportunities for citizens to come forward and make any presentations, comments, constructive criticism to the council. You have 3 minutes to do so in making your comments. We ask when you come up, please state your name, your address, and then afterwards you can sign the sign-in sheet for the official record. Are there any citizens who wish to come forward tonight and address the council?
My name is Douglas M. Brantley Jr. I live at 150 Honeysuckle Lane in Fayetteville. I've been there for 24 years. My comments is to the council. I have been before you one time, a long time ago, 6 years. 22 years ago, I sent a letter to the Fayetteville Council, the other guys, a letter where my son was sucked in to a water problem in my area. He was 3 years old. Had I not been a well-trained Marine that could swim, he would have died. I made this apparent to this council one time before, about 6 years ago. 22 years ago, gentlemen, nothing has been done for the damage at Honeysuckle Lane. It started, there's 2 pictures I gave to Chelsea. I certainly appreciate you doing that. If you look at the pictures, one of them is the beginning, the other was just rain on the 9th of this month. Okay? Somebody's gonna die. A lady in one of the harsh rains 2 years ago, her vehicle was washed into a drain. Luckily, my son was there to save the lady, get her out of her vehicle. I have the tag number and the picture if anybody would like to call her and ask her about that situation. That's how strong the current is. There's a sinkhole. You'll see the small picture where it started. It is now 170 feet long, 16 feet deep, and 27 feet wide. That is not my problem. I had huge pipes underneath. The above ground water washed into a drain, washed the pipes, the dirt churned and churned, the pipes dropped down, then it began to wash. That's a problem that I had to do something with. A general told me one time when I was on active duty, first be right, then take action. What I did was call a local college, have 4 hydrologists come out. I had them walk the area. No one in the council here or the county has walked that terrain. The Lee Hearn came out and stood in the middle of the cul-de-sac and looked at the damage. It's horrific. There's one piece of concrete that weighs over 3,000 pounds that myself and some gentlemen could not pick up. That's how strong the wash is. My neighbor is going to lose her house sooner than later. Eric Maxwell came out in his wheelchair. A nice gentleman, both of them were. He was not able to do anything other than say, oh my goodness. Mayor, I talked to you at the Waffle House a couple of months ago, and you were going to send somebody out. I haven't seen anybody yet, okay? People come out and look, and they say, oh man, that's terrible. I'm worried about my house. Water is coming from a place above me where their water runs into my property. The engineering was not very good back in the day. I'm not laying blame. I'm not blaming anybody on this council. I'm worried that some young kid in my neighborhood is going to die because I can't get a group of adults to come out and fix a problem that 4 hydrologists from college, seniors, have graduated since. I got statements from all 4. The problem is generated because of the city of Fayetteville. Poor engineering, poor plan. They wrote this down. I did not solicit them to say anything bad. I just asked them, first be right, then take action. I'm worried about some kid. They played that rain that you have the picture of. There were 6 kids riding their bicycles through the water. I would have done it when I grew up. Somebody's going to get hurt because the current is so strong. My son would have died. The lady in the car, I don't know what would have happened to her. The car was not very good. My son was there, and he and 2 friends helped get her out. I would like to take time to invite this group of ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea too, to come out and walk my terrain. Wear some boots. You will see, and I'll have you help me pick it up if you can. These 4 hydrologists and myself could not pick up one piece of the concrete that was washed out of my neighbor's driveway. It was that heavy. Can you imagine that current grabbing a little boy or a little girl? I own a business in Fayetteville. I'm about the kids and I'm about the family. I want somebody in Fayetteville to be about taking care of me not losing the value in my house or my driveway. The bottom driveway is getting ready to break and wash, and it's because of the above ground wash. You'd have to see how strong it is on a day where there's a lot. That picture is a very minor rain, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have. I appreciate you listening to me. I want to be on record as saying that I am more worried about the kids in my neighborhood. They love to play in that sinkhole. I filled it in twice after it started washing. It cost me $450 for each truckload of dirt. I've talked to Brent Scarborough Company, and my son worked for him for a while. I don't know why this county, this city, can't say, let's hire Brent. Y'all pay half, they pay half. This is my story every time. It's the city's fault. The city says it's the county's fault. And I pay taxes. I'm a good citizen. I'm a good Baptist too. And I'm not making fault with anybody. I'm just saying that at some point in time, you know, I would like somebody to stand up.
Thank you, Colonel. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And I'd like to at least make a matter for the record. You and I spoke yes at the Waffle House.
Yes, sir.
And immediately after I left the Waffle House, I investigated and found and called Commissioner Charles Otto, and he told me he was aware of the situation. It is a county matter because it is in the county property, and he said he would get back to you and communicate whatever the county was able to do. So for the record, I did, and I even followed up with you and told you I called Commissioner Otto and spoke to him, and he would be contacting you.
That is true, Mayor, and I certainly appreciate it. And there was some lady that came out. She wasn't an engineer or anything, but she stood in the thing and looked both sides and said, "Oh, this is awful." And she left. I don't know who she was. I don't remember her name, but I do remember that comment. And I appreciate it. Mr. Otto has not gotten back with me.
I've been out there to the site, to your property, when your neighbor was first.
Miss Jean.
Yeah, you came and spoke on her behalf.
Yes.
And I went out and I met you, and you showed me around your property. And we talked, and, yeah, we're currently, there's currently, I know there's litigation on her property. Currently that's going on that, we're kind of tied up in. But I would like, if you made a comment that there's 4 reports from engineers. Do you have those?
Yes, sir, I have them at home, and I have been advised by a very close friend of mine that was a JAG, with my JAG when I was in the 24th ID, to hang on to mine for a later purpose. I would share them with you, but I will be glad to share them with you if I can't get my situation resolved. It's really not my problem. I bought pipe, and the city said their pipes were bigger than mine. No, I took out a measuring tape. It was really easy, and they're not. My pipes are so much bigger than what the city runs into that area. But you see the water problem on a light rain, and I do appreciate that, and I do remember you coming out. I am worried. I started that for Miss Gina. She didn't have anything. She didn't. Her house is the only thing she has. She's fixing to lose her mom, and she's got $70,000 into it. I'm gonna reimburse her out of my own pocket when it's all over. If somebody doesn't do anything, I swear to do that, and I hold myself accountable in front of this group. Okay, but it's not our fault, and it's water. It's poor engineering a long time ago, and I say that reluctantly, but you walk it and you can see where the problem is, and I certainly appreciate it. And thank you for hearing me, Mr. Mayor.
No problem,
Ms.
Mr. Colonel.
Chelsea,
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And
So here are your pictures, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
are there any other citizens who wish to come forward to address the council tonight on any matters? Hearing and seeing none, ladies and gentlemen, we have completed the official business for tonight's meeting, with the exception of going into executive session to discuss real estate. We adjourn and go into private session, and you're welcome to stay. I can't guarantee how long it will take for us to discuss the matter before us, but we will come out and inform you, if you're still here, of what we discussed and if we have made any decisions. But if you must leave, we understand. We thank you for being here tonight. We thank you for being informed, and citizens who are interested in knowing what your council is doing and how we function. And as I said earlier, I can assure you, now that I've served with this council for 4 years, and we're looking at 4 more years together, we will continue to endeavor to earn your trust and confidence in what we do as your leaders in this city. If there are no other questions, I will entertain a motion that we adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening if you're not here when we get back.